Hey everybody, welcome back. The Northernlion has one win in a row, and Isaac is going. It's going, dude. It's going, dude. BZQ9 AKVG. Statistically, it all depends on our HP. You know, like old folks peeing. I guess it all depends. Oh, Kanye West on his track Late from the 2004 album Late Registration. Okay. Isaac has been up and down lately. I really feel like we've played mostly okay and run into what I would describe as a substantial amount of trouble. Just by virtue of the fact that the seeds have been pretty bad, but you know, I'm not trying to make excuses, if that makes sense. Because I mean, there's excuses and then there's reasons, right? I feel like we as a society, we have to come up with what's an excuse and what's a reason. You know, because aren't excuses just bad reasons? Like, or a reason that's a lie? Like, for example, my dog ate my homework. Oh, really? It's 2019. Your dog ate your iPad? I don't think so, dude. You gotta take that thing to the veterinarian. It's a long word. The veterinarian. Got stuck in my throat. But then sometimes, like, people say, like, I don't want to hear excuses. Well, I mean, what can I tell you then? Hey, I asked you to get this done. Why didn't you get it done? Well, I got in a terrible car accident. Both of my arms are broken. I didn't ask for your excuses. It's not really a fair assessment, is it? It's not an Excel floor? I'm stunned. You know, there's good reasons and there's bad reasons. It's up to you to figure out which... I think you got to at least allow people to have good excuses. Now, most excuses probably do come down to bad time management. If that makes sense. Like, let me hit you with something. And if you're watching the video, I apologize. It's at your expense here, okay? But I am acquaintances with a guy I go to school with. He's a nice guy. And he's busy. I want that to be clear. He has a full-time job, and then he also has gone to night class. But, you know, and he's an adult. When you're an adult, you just get busy most of the time. You got a relationship, you know, keeping up with your family, hobbies, etc., etc. It's not to say you're not busy when you're, you know, a kid or a teenager. I'm just, you know, we're getting sidetracked here. No excuses. So, you know, when I would do assignments, I would typically, like, I would start them, as I've mentioned many times, you know, like the night they're given or, you know, the next day. I don't take much time off. I'd rather get it done and then relax instead of just, you know, let's relax before the work is done. Because I can't really relax as well if the work's not done. So I would talk to him after I finished the assignment and I'd be like, hey, did you do assignment 2? It's pretty hard. And he'd be like, nah, I haven't started yet. My easy day is Saturday. So I think I'm going to start it then. And I'm like, all right, dude, but it's due on, you know, Sunday at midnight. And he'll be like, yeah, but come on. It's like, it's a basic assignment. It can't take more than 12 hours or something to do. That's a little ridiculous. And then I'll talk to him, you know, maybe not again until the class. And I'm like, how'd you do on the assignment? And he's like, well, I couldn't hand it in. I started doing it, but then I just, you know, I found it difficult and I kind of ran out of time before I could solve it, so I didn't hand it in. That's an excuse. Could have stayed. I mean, everybody else. Here's maybe a good example. If everybody else can figure it out, given the same constraints, maybe that's an excuse. He didn't feel like starting it on time, or early, I should say. By not starting it early, he didn't give himself the time in case something went wrong. You get the idea. That's how I feel. Where did you come from? He grew out of the ground, dude. I think he was small because of GB Bug touching him, and then he got larger. I don't know. That's how I feel about lateness, if that makes sense. Sometimes, late people don't understand that early people see through your excuses because we all live on the same planet, right? We all have the same constraints to some extent. But late people will hit you with something like, sorry, there's traffic. And early people are like, yeah. The appointment was at, you know, 4:30. Of course there's traffic. What do you expect? That's why you gotta leave earlier. Or, sorry, my train was delayed. You know? That's not a bad excuse. You know what? Can we just... Oh, I'm so dumb. I thought this would take us out of the room. I completely deserve that. No excuses. Wow, I'm just bad. I'm just bad at Isaac again. It's taken a while to get here. But they'll hit you with, like, my train was delayed. Not a bad excuse. It was delayed by, like, 15, 20 minutes. Not much you can do about it. However, that's why early people, if you're a late person, I'll teach you the easiest way to just become an early person. I understand it's not going to happen overnight. It's going to take time, right? Like me changing from an Isaac god into the worst player of Isaac on the planet. It's going to take time. Leave giving yourself enough time that if one thing goes wrong, you're still going to be there on time. Treat every appointment as if it's like an airplane, and if you're not there when you're supposed to be there, it's going to go on without you. You will never or very rarely be late again. Of course, situations can happen. Oh, my kid got sick. I had to pick him up from school. That's a very good excuse. Unforeseeable. What are you supposed to do about that? There's not much you can do. Can't predict your child getting ill. Anyone that doesn't have sympathy for that is kind of a jerk, in my opinion. But, having a meeting at 5 p.m. and being like, there was traffic, that's like, yeah. Everybody else managed to make it on time. How come you didn't manage to make it on time? You know what I mean?
Feels like I'm walking on sunshine.
I guess the other thing is, if you ever find yourself in my freaking classroom, dude, you better be on your game, is all I'm saying. I'm not a taskmaster from an educational standpoint. However, some of the stuff I've heard, even in like my adult level programming classes, has made me laugh. It'll be like, hey, Jennifer, why didn't you get the assignment done? Well, it was due on Sunday. I sent you an email Saturday night at 10 p.m. and you didn't reply to me. What gives, Professor? The professor's like, listen, I got a job. I'm doing this part-time. I'm making $22 an hour teaching kids how to become programmers. Can't be sending me these Saturday night emails and then blaming me when the assignment doesn't get done. Anyway, it's a preachy start to the episode for somebody who's making his own mistakes Isaac-wise here, no matter what. Since we have no other choice, let's do it. Seems like a sensible option to me. I don't know what's happened. I'm in a bit of an Isaac funk. We'll bust out of it. We always do. We slump and we streak. We slump and streak. It's like an economy. We have boom bust cycles, and we're very much in a bust cycle right now. But it's good. I mean, it's not good. It's ideal though versus the alternative. If the alternative is being in a bust cycle when the DLC comes out, but I mean, I guess we still got to prove that we're not going to be in a bust when the DLC comes out. But we got a long freaking way to go before that it becomes relevant. Still, like, probably at least 5 months, potentially more. Okay, euthanasia. We got euthanasia. POD. You don't hear too much about POD anymore. Whoa, destroyed. That's one of those bands that has been erased from planet Earth. Youth of the Nation. In 2002, POD seemed like they could be the next great rock band. Listen to how atmospheric those songs are. Nobody's making songs that atmospheric. The only thing, I mean, to be fair, I was in 8th grade in 2002. 8th and 9th grade. I can't tell you what adults were thinking about the band POD. But all that stuff, Nickelback, Creed, POD, Limp Bizkit, back then, it sounded like the freshest stuff I'd ever heard in my entire life. It was the sound of suburban anger. And I was tuning in. I think we probably want to just stick with Head of Krampus. Yeah, let's get the heck out of town. I think we're doing fine. We got angel deals coming up, maybe. No complaints. No complaints, dude. Catch you with one of these. I would like one of these keys, though. Thank you. What's on the docket for me today? It's a good question. Today's is Wednesday. Parents are here, having a wonderful time. Totally did not need to use a key. Now that I think about it for more than 2 seconds, do I prefer Necronomicon? Honestly, I think I do just because it has a charge right now, but is much worse on bosses. And actually, it's probably worse on rooms as well. Let's go back. This is not a sensible move long term. I don't know what we're gonna do today. I got to stream, for sure. Pardon? I shouldn't say I gotta stream. I get to stream today. It's the NLSS day. That's right, it was in here to begin with. It's gonna be a good time. I wish I had more exciting things to talk about, but I don't really. We're in the dog days of summer. Daily routine's pretty simple. Go to the gym, drink a couple iced coffees while recording, stream, just leave. Stream a little bit of your games for me. And then try not to get sucked in by whatever the Twitter drama du jour is. Today it's, hell, what if everybody started doing subscriber-only streams, you know? And then we're good to go. Go hang out with my parents, go to dinner. Get a little bit of a preview of what my perspective on life might be in 22 years. More or less, that's what it is. I gotta say, though, I'm itching to see a movie. But the selection of movies right now is not bad. It's not bad. I saw a tweet today that was like, are we back in 1995? And it was a picture of the multiplex. What was playing at the multiplex? Toy Story, Godzilla, Men in Black International, and Aladdin. And it said, coming soon, The Lion King. So I get what you're saying. You're saying back in 1995, this is exactly what the multiplex looked like, you know? We had original ideas back then. Did we? Because Aladdin, you know, is a pre-existing legend. Godzilla was a reboot. Lion King was a reimagined version of Hamlet. Men in Black's based on a comic or a graphic novel I can never remember. Let's go. I'm not saying that we're not in a period of remakes and sequels and people are getting fatigue for franchises. I'm just saying it was like that back then, to some extent at least. And the big difference is that, you know, when we were, 8 years old, we were not discerning customers. We were like, yeah, dude, you know what I want to see in theaters? The Land Before Time 6. Now, as an adult, 30-year-old dude with a beard and a little bit of student debt, we look at that and we go, oh, Hollywood's all out of ideas. Plus, here's the thing. I hear Toy Story 4 is extremely great. Now, do I have any interest in seeing Aladdin? No, not really. I watched, those movies are not for me. I'm gonna put it as non-cynically as possible, okay? I watched the live-action Beauty and the Beast a couple of years ago, and I was like, I get it. This is just, it's a money-making machine. The Beauty and the Beast struck me as completely, soullessly profit-driven, which is perhaps why I liked it so much. I'm being facetious. But I was like, I get why people like this. But still. I mean, we can't really, you know, the same people who are going to be like, oh, you know, why are they remaking all these movies from 20 years ago? The original's so good. Are like, dude, I can't wait for the Final Fantasy VII remake. And I can't wait for the Final Fantasy VII remake, although I'm still, as of yet, unsure if I'll even play it. But I can't wait to see what the reaction is like anyway. Look, I got franchise fatigue as well. You know what movie I'm most excited about to see this summer? Look, of course I will go see Spider-Man Far From Home the freaking day it comes out. And I also hear that that's very good based on the initial buzz so far, but you can't really trust the first reactions because they are largely from people that are invited to the premiere to, you know, let's just say not because of their discerning taste would be a nice and polite way to put it. I will blow this up. But I'm most excited to see Midsommar, which looks fantastic. I heard it's extremely good. And I'm already disappointed because Ari Aster, his directorial horror debut was Hereditary. Then he made Midsommar. And now he's like, I'm going to take a little break from horror. I mean, I guess I shouldn't be upset because if he knocked the first 2 movies out of the park, there's no reason to believe he won't do it with a third. But like, hey man, come on, you can't just leave the genre hanging like this. Anyway, I'm excited to see that. That's the movie I'm most interested to see. Much in the same way that, like, to be honest, Us was like one of the movies this spring that I was most interested to see. And when I saw it, I was like, it's good. Was it as good as I thought it could be? No, but I think that that's kind of like... That's the curse of a great trailer, if it makes sense. The trailer was so good, and it it's like the Game of Thrones thing, you know? Building the mystery, not difficult. Not as difficult, let's say. Actually resolving the mystery and the myriad threads in such a way that people will be universally satisfied, much more difficult. Now, Us did a pretty good job of making what I consider to be a compelling narrative. Game of Thrones Season 8, I don't want to beat this drum over and over. I understand if you like Season 8, it makes you feel bad, but really felt like for Game of Thrones Season 8, they were like, hey, remember all those mysteries we spent 7 seasons building? Yeah, but just, that didn't matter. And then people were like, well, why'd you build it up then? Well, it's a narrative conceit for us to say that, hey, not everything in the world has to be prophesized. Yeah, okay, that's cool, but why is it bad? I get what you're trying to make an overarching point, but if the point doesn't land, that makes the point bad, I think. Hey. Anyway, where was I going with this? I don't remember. Now, to be honest, this is a very bold take. I don't know if people are ready for this. My favorite movies are good movies. I value competency. Or let's not say competency, because that's like a 4-letter word. People take that to mean like boring and workmanlike. But I value, like, as I've said before, execution over original ideas most of the time. So what was my, like, favorite movie I've seen in theaters this year? Well, I mean, Endgame was like... It was pretty hype, without a doubt. But, also up there, John Wick 3, franchise movie. Saw it like a month after it came out. I had a fantastic time. So I'm not necessarily super against the sequels. Now, to be fair to the person who made that tweet in the first place, maybe that's not what they were getting at. Maybe they were just making a joke, but that's how the mentions turned out. And to be fair to them as well, apparently Men in Black International is really bad, and then Aladdin is workmanlike, and then Godzilla War of the Monsters is either terrible or amazing, depending on how you feel about the source material to begin with. But Toy Story 4 is innocent. Even having not seen it, I'm just gonna throw that out there, okay? You're allowed to... Let's go. You're allowed to be cynical. But if they knock it out of the park and kill it, you gotta own up to it, okay? I'm sorry to tell you, that's the way it's gotta go. By the way, none of these items really drastically improve our chances of winning, I think. I mean, doubling up on holy water, not really that big of a deal. We really, more than anything else, obviously need damage. I hate this freaking red belt. Angel statue. Please. Please! Okay, will we fight Mega Satan? Well, we'll certainly try. I would still rather have Krampus's head. Krampus's head is like, is a flexible item. You know what I mean? Krampus's head is like, if you have low damage, Krampus's head is beautiful. It can help bridge the gap that you need to get to the victory. If you don't, or if you do have a lot of damage, you can just say, you know what, Krampus's head, this isn't working out that well anymore. But this is one thing that's happened to us quite a lot in Isaac lately, and you know, I think there's an element of what's the word I'm trying to find here? There's my own influence is involved here, but I'm not saying the game is completely guilty. But we've had a lot of runs lately that have kind of followed the same trajectory of starting with pretty poor damage, pretty poor stats, really, and then you're like, that's fine, because usually within like a few floors, it'll sort itself out. And then you're a few floors later, and the game's like, nah, dude. Absolutely not. So we're still at like, I would say this is now a below average damage stat. It's definitely a below average rate of fire. Our health is probably just about average. What do we have going for us? Well, we got angel rooms, and you know, that's not worth nothing. And we have 2 decent spacebar items, and that's honestly pretty much it. So if you're looking at this run and you're going like, you know, you're set. This is an easy win. I think you're very much, you know, you're looking at the wrong stuff on this run right now. I would kill for a DPS upgrade here. I think I'm willing to try to double it, because we've already been to the other room. Might as well see what we get here. Ace of Hearts. I'm not like mad or anything. Verp? Yeah, I'd love to verp a Horf pill. It's a sentence that doesn't even make sense. No, I mean, we could use the HP, but I'm not thrilled about this one right now. Just to be straight up with you. I'm not trying to be a baby about it, I'm just saying. Now, what's more valuable, HP or the item room? I'm gonna hope that it's the freaking item room. The shop also, of course, especially with Crooked Penny, which has actually been, Crooked Penny's been very solid for us so far. This is not a shop. Okay, do we want to double this? This might be a good opportunity to accept losing HP. I think it is. So here's what you do. You grab this. It's gonna take a second, okay? Don't get too freaked out. So we definitely want to finish with Satanic Bible, so we probably should have handled this room a little differently, but we just got Bookworm. Do we need anything else? Well, we don't need anything else, but we might as well take Book of Revelations. This is an advanced level technique. Do not try it at home. Like I said, it's an advanced level technique. And you're not going to love this, but sorry, Krampus said. I really want to keep Crooked Penny. Just because it's, to be honest, more interesting. But with, no, I'm not going to take it. We don't need to take it. We don't need to debase ourselves. Why did we get a Tears upgrade upon completing this room? I bet it was an Epiphora thing. Whatever. Anyway, the run's just weird, okay? That's where we're at. Well, thank God I handled it like that. I wouldn't want to embarrass myself over the... Okay, sure, you know, I mean, it's well worth it. It's well worth it. Let me out. I know we could use that, but... You know, it starts to... the only way I can explain it, okay? When I was younger, I worked in an office. Let me caffeinate. This is a long story. When I was younger, I worked in an office. My role at the office was administrative, you know? But I was a student in college, so I was kind of also like a mercenary, if that makes sense. So you're a jack of all trades. However, I was hired to sit at a desk, more or less. And there were times, you know, I'm an able-bodied young man. There were times when they'd be like, hey, we got, you know, 40 desks that corporate ordered that have finally arrived. Can you help us unload the truck so that we could put the desk, you know, into the office? And as a 19-year-old, I said sure, for a couple of reasons. I want that to be clear. I did say yes. I didn't feel coerced. One of the reasons I said yes is because if I spent any more time looking at a computer screen in that office, I would have died. So it was like it was a nice break. The other reason was that, at least on some level, in my brain, I was like, this place owns me. I'm nothing. I'm just a little baby. I don't want to rock the boat. I'll just do what they ask, right? And that was me and Isaac for about 3 years. Up until fairly recently. Play Isaac. If they give you garbage, I get a fork. Num num num. Oh, this is great garbage. I love the garbage. You know, I wanted to be seen as a team player. Whether that meant I was eating garbage or I was eating filet mignon. Now, you know, I would like to think, and I think that you're within your reasons here. You don't want to be a total dork about it. Like, you know, if someone asks, hey, could you help me move this stuff? Hey, excuse me, John, that's not in my job description, okay? I think it's pretty effed up that you're trying to get me to, blah, blah, you get the idea. But I think that I would be much more hesitant now to do it. Because, you know, you got a little bit more self-respect and you've been playing the game a little longer, if that makes sense. By the way, it'll tie in a moment. Just give me a second here.
Two of spades.
You know, like, you got to think about, what if, it's not necessarily likely, what if I'm at work, you know, and I'm moving these desks, which is out of my job description, and, you know, I hurt my back. And I got, you know, I've got to go see a chiropractor or an osteopath or a massage therapist, etc., etc. Like, is this company gonna have my back? What if I screw up my back so bad doing this that I can't work for a year? Are they gonna pay me a year's worth of salary? You know, that's something you got to reckon with personally. Now, the risk of it is relatively low, but if it were to happen, you know, you want to know that the game's got your back. That's kind of where I'm at in Isaac right now, where sometimes, you know, when the game gives me lemonade, I'm like, thanks for the lemonade. I really love lemonade. This is delicious. Sometimes it gives me lemons and goes, make lemonade, and I go, you know what? I've given you 10 of the best years of my freaking life. And you come to me and you say, make your own lemonade? I don't know about that. Here's the thing. I don't mind popping the lemons into the juicer. But you give me a basket full of lemons in my 2 hands. I will say my standards have gotten higher. I can't put a smile on my face and go, oh, I love cracking these lemons open, squeezing them with my bare hands, getting the lemon juice all over my skin. It gets inside of the hangnail and, you know, is a 10 out of 10 on the pain scale, but I'm just so happy to be making lemonade, you know? That's not the case anymore. It's not that I don't love Isaac. What I'm trying to say is I'm unionizing against Isaac because we should have fair treatment. And what are the conditions of the collective bargaining agreement that I'm proposing? Well, from my position, it's very simple. Every run must start with a minimum of 12 rate of fire. And you know what I mean by minimum. Don't try to twist my words. It has to be at least as good as 12 rate of fire and at least as good as 3 damage or the equivalent given, you know, soy milk damage multipliers, etc., etc., etc. Every run is guaranteed at least 1 deal with the devil, reasonably completed within the first 4 floors. And no more than 2 Curse of the Unknown in a row. And I'm writing that. I'm writing that into the rider. And if you don't want to negotiate, well then, I'll see you at the picket line. The picky line. I'm being facetious, obviously. It's still a pleasure to play. I'm just saying, especially when you're on, like, 0 wins, your standards do go a little bit up. For what you're willing to put up with. When you're on, like, 60 wins in a row, you're like, dude, give me a tears upgrade and a dream, and I'll see you on the chest. When you're on 1, you're like, I'm not getting out of bed for anything less than the mark. Either way, I can't believe I almost walked into those. I got in a speed wobble, but at low speed. We're recovering here. This is a good run, to be honest. We've, you know, obviously we've been skipping some consumables down here, but we've been handling our business appropriately. Appreciate the tiers upgrade a great deal. Oh, hi, Mark. And then try to double up. It's good stuff. And we gotta say thank you to Crooked Penny as well. It's done us a great service down here. I'm very for it. It's been very generous. Curse of the Blind, fair enough. But I will say, oh, dude, I can't wait for this freaking DLC. I can't believe it. There's still like a couple of achievements that I somehow do not have in this game. How is that possible? Very specific stuff, I'm assuming, that I'm missing. You know, stand on one foot and beat the chest. I don't know. Along those lines. It's crazy to me. But simultaneously, I can't wait for the DLC. I'm ready for new content. Like, you know, Booster Pack 5, it was great. Gotten a lot of good stuff out of it. But this is, I mean, at this point, we're probably close to the longest stretch we've ever been in Isaac history without having, or between new content, if that makes sense. I don't know if that's specifically true, but I don't even remember when Booster Pack 5 came out. It's gotta be like a year and a half ago. If not longer? It might be longer than that, to be honest. That's I mean, you don't have to update your game forever. But knowing that there's an update coming, you know, that's a long wait. So I'm it should be worth the wait. And I'm not even just saying that to be like lip service for PR. But it's like, it's an ambitious DLC. For sure. I don't think they're taking too long. I'm just very eager to have a little bit of a refreshing of the Isaac experience. So I think, you know, being realistic, we are getting to the point where it's time to sunset Isaac. Certainly, at this point, we're going to play until the DLC comes out and until we beat everything there is to beat in the DLC. Then after that, it'll be probably time to have a conversation, you know? Because I think Isaac... it's not even... It's gotten to the point where it's not even that sentimental anymore, if that makes sense. Should have just taken it. It's not that I won't be sad to see it go. It's just that it is the appropriate time, you know? At this point, and especially after the DLC, it won't be a series that's being taken down, you know, in its prime. Is the series is been in it for the long haul, and it's been very significant for me and my channel for sure. But the time is definitely approaching. Now, approaching in an Isaac sense, that could mean it's a year and a half, 2 years away. But still. Honestly, what it comes down to is I want to have a greater variety of games on the channel. And we've been doing that with mixed success over the past year, well, 6 months or so in particular. But there's always one thing, which is like, you know, it's like trying to do construction, but you can't, you know... Your population in your city has grown by a factor of 10, but, you know, you've got 2-lane roads with buildings on the side. How are you going to make it so you can accommodate more traffic? Well, eventually, you know, you can, you know, do construction on other roads to try to make the thoroughfare better and, you know, try to lighten the load that's going on in, you know, other major avenues and stuff like that. But eventually, you might just have to bulldoze the whole city block and do something new. And that's the thing, you know. We can only add so much variety. Well, we've also got, you know, a video per day, 365 times a year, going to Isaac. But anyway, this, I don't want to... If you love Isaac, you got nothing to worry about. For one, because, you know, everything I make is Isaac in one way or another. And if it's not, it eventually gets there. But then, like, moreover... It's a long way away. Well, it's at least not, like, happening tomorrow. If you catch my drift. We had, like, 6 months, probably, until the DLC comes out to begin with. And then to squeeze all the lemonade out of those lemons, who knows? But I'm just giving you where I'm at. But I think it's, you know... Ed and I, we're joined at the hip, one way or the other. He's got all the talent, which makes it easier for me. You know, he thought Isaac would be like a one little side project thing. I thought it would be a one little side project thing. Here we are, 8 years later. Perhaps both finally ready to be like, you know what, this is the last big thing for this. By the way, I know you're going to be hearing the clicking. Prepare yourself. Are you not dead? I really thought that fly was going to get you. My HP sense was tingling there. Anyway, you get the that's where I'm standing when it comes to Isaac. Still like recording Isaac, but this DLC will be the last push for sure. Well, I know Ed did tweet Isaac 2 will definitely come out someday. You can bet I'll be there if I'm still breathing. Which, I mean, I see no reason to believe that I wouldn't be. It sounds like menacing, but like, I don't know. What are you supposed to say? I don't expect to get killed at any time in the next few years. I mean, why even be like, whoa, don't jinx yourself? What are you going to say? Boy, if you do die, you're going to feel real stupid. I doubt it. Maybe for like a brief instant. And then after that, chilling in heaven. Drinking Mai Tais. Got him. Now. Stop. Just don't debase yourself by doing damage to a god. It's just embarrassing. I will say, our damage stat, DPS in general, never did it ever pop off on this run. Is okay. Life goes on. But I would very much like to just, like, I was just gonna say, smack you around a little bit. Who's your daddy? And then, of course, you got me coming on with a little orbital action here. I'm willing to use my orbital here just because we have so much HP to begin with. And if this ends up killing me, well, it'll be worth it for the automated lemonade juicer. I guess lemonade isn't really... Well, it is a juice. I don't get why lemons get an aid. I guess it's because lemon juice already existed in a culinary sense first. Take me out. We've done it. For now, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, click the like button. I'll see you great deal. Of course, subscribe if you want to see more in the future. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time. See ya!